All right, well, great presentation today, an amazing partnership too. Could you talk a little bit about how that all came together and how you all, you're all from the same town, how the credit unions are part of the same?
Well, thank you, but every good idea needs supporters, and I say it's a team effort, but there was a home that was built by the house that banks built, and I'm like, I do not like that. And approached the executive director and said, what's it take to build a house that credit unions built? And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And immediately we got the ball rolling. It did not take a long time. We had a lunch meeting with the credit unions, and they were sold before they walked out the front door. And it just was the most beautiful partnership of people who care about people. And the rest is Thomas is in a home that he deserves and worked very hard to earn. Nothing's given.
What were some memorable moments from the build and putting the whole partnership together?
Watching Laurel run a nail gun.
Yeah, I had never, I wouldn't consider myself a handy person. I can do a lot of things, but building is not something I would have put on my list of talents. But yeah, I ran a nail gun, and it was a little intimidating, I'm not going to lie. But then there's that moment of power, that felt kind of good. And then you get to do it again and again and again. So it was fun. I glued and nailed flooring. That was my job for the day.
Important job.
Yep.
I think the day that Thomas was surprised with the home was pretty incredible, and that he knew that he was the recipient. And then I think all along the way, right, as you start seeing this foundation be poured, the first time we went and looked, we're like, oh my goodness, we have so much to do. And then just all of the different credit unions and then other community partners that came in, and then all of a sudden it's the finished product that he gets to move into. So I think that it was really neat. I was really impressed the day the foundation, we went and checked it out when the foundation was built, right? That was like, this is really coming to life here. So I thought that those were some pretty memorable moments.
How about you, Michelle?
Seeing Thomas announce his daughter when he was the recipient, and everyone was crying there. And then, as Adele said, the progress of the build coming to life. I got to do the siding and carry those big, heavy pieces of siding. And it was just rewarding when I left that afternoon. I looked and I'm like, I did that. And so that was personally rewarding to know that together we built this house.
I also really liked, and sorry, I'm sure you have something too, but the high school shop class, was it, that they would come? And so you'd see a bus full of high schoolers come at the same time, right? And so just seeing that, it really does take a community to do it. It was neat to see those responsible young children on scaffolding. It's like, oh dear.
Yeah. We were also invited to demolition, so we had to demo a property before the house got to be built. And so they invited us to that event. And I think I took for granted, how hard it is to swing some of that equipment. And so they gave us sledgehammers, which was scary. I showed up in open-toed shoes and a dress that day. Maybe not the smartest wardrobe. And I lifted it up and it was like, oh, that's heavy. And I just, Thomas had to do 400 hours of sweat equity, and it was literally sweat equity. It was hard work.
Well, it sounds like you're pretty handy.
It's been a long time since I'd done construction work, years when I was in the laborers union back in Minnesota, and then my brother had a company as well. So it'd been years since I'd done any real construction work, and it was an ordeal every day out in the hot sun, and the best part of course, was all the lunches we got to eat. So
they do keep us well fed.
Yeah, they did keep us well fed, and there was just numerous places, the churches and different people that would bring us sandwiches, and some days we had hot food, and it all depends. And then the real hard part of it was the bucket brigade, when we had to backfill the property because our contractor that moved the dirt was busy with other obligations. So they come up with the idea of filling 5-gallon pails with dirt and walking it from the pile over to the house, dumping it, and then we had to tamp it by hand.
Wow.
And that took like almost 2 weeks, and we just had the funnest time ever doing it. But it was it was a lot of sweat equity.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. It was fun. So.
Valerie, have you seen any types of partnerships like this before?
Yeah, that's what's so cool about it, is that everybody could do this, you know. And one other thing I want to mention that I think every credit union can learn from, homeowners can make payments because rents are so high, right? They can make their mortgage payments. One thing that's really keeping people out of the home ownership game or the lending game is that down payment, right? So like at our affiliate, we only require a 1% down payment. And I'm not sure what that looks like for different credit unions. But my point is, if credit unions could maybe rethink the down payment, maybe more people could get into an affordable home just working with their credit union.
Valerie,
Purchase
I'd
money
like to
second.
Speak to that. Blue just about a year ago, we have a no money down mortgage just because of that. So we're the first one to ever have that. So I should have mentioned that today so Bill can talk
I know, I
about
just read this.
the no money down mortgage is that we have investors at our credit union that put up the money. We pay them a premium dividend. So they're making higher than the normal rate on their term share. And that's the money used for the money down for this home. And then they come in making their payments and there's no money down.
There is.
There is,
yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yes, I'll share some more info. We have a press release and everything.
Great. Yeah.
And we hope other credit unions do it too,
Right,
right?
right.
That's why I'm sharing, is that I want people to be able to take this back and do it for their members.
That's very cool.
What advice would you offer other credit unions who might form a similar type of partnership and do this type of thing?
I have a vision that this could be a national program, that it could be the house that credit unions built, and that it could happen in every market, big or
Every
small.
state.
Every state. I mean, wouldn't that be so amazing if you could say that
Yes.
credit unions built a house in every state? So that's like my challenge to our colleagues.
Well, there's one in Colorado and one in Wyoming so far.
I think Washington State did one. I mean, and
Yes.
I'm talking with folks when they found out that I was on the panel. They're like, "Oh yeah, our credit union is involved." So
Oh,
it's like,
good.
let's take it to the next level.
I
and
love that.
like, I would love to see if there what has happened already, and start like, you know, that little like shade in the map, fill in the
Yes.
states that have done it. I think that would be really cool if we could say it happened in every state in the country.
And there's so many credit unions that choose Habitat as their nonprofit to support, right?
Yes.
Individually. And that's where they bring their new hires to orientation and do those volunteer opportunities. But I think what's so special and just game changing is when all of the credit unions get together in a market to really build a house.
together.
Yeah, build it together.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would just say that we live in a military community, so we have an Air Force base in our community and a Guard base. And so we are all of our credit unions, we are very huge military supporters. So this is actually the first house that is a veterans build home in our community. So it's really great that credit unions
have
got
an
to be
affiliation. Yep.
that groundbreaking new program in Cheyenne. That's a national program as well, I believe, right?
Yep.
The Veterans Build program. But we get to say, yep, we were part of that in Cheyenne. We were the first. So very cool.